the Hokage of the village hidden in the leaf, versus the strongest sorcerer of the modern era. Who wins between these two staples of power? Let's find out. Hey guys, it's your boy JK Debates, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that is very contentious on sites like Twitter and TikTok, when the winner of the fight is pretty obvious. That topic being, obviously, Naruto versus Gojo. Now, well, yes, this topic isn't brought up as much as topics like Gojo versus Goku, Gojo versus All Might, Gojo versus Ichigo, blah blah blah, whatever other anime characters you can see that are popular right now, Gojo has probably been pinned against them. Besides from Luffy, I think everybody agrees that Gojo would completely molest the One Piece verse, but that's besides the point. But the reason why I'm doing this video instead of just making a video about Gojo as I was originally planning to is because this topic or debate is being used as an avenue to downplay both of these characters, especially Gojo, with people making a lot of fallacious claims like Gojo is nothing without infinity, which I will be addressing in this video. And as per usual, I'll be debunking both ranked versions of these characters so we can get a realistic frame of reference for both of their scales, so we can finally decide who wins. But before we get into this, please guys remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Now, I do want to preface the fact that I am not using VSBW or Character Stats and Profiles Wiki for this video. I am going to be using my own wiki, TPS, also known as Tempest Power and Stats Wiki, a wiki that has a unique tiering system, pages to help you as a power scaler and debater, and the freedom to scale whatever character however you like. Well, your scales will be scrutinized by me, of course, if they make absolutely no sense. But if they do make sense, then you're free to go, buddy. So if anything I said interested you at all, go check the link down below. But anyways, I am going to be using Naruto. Naruto from the end of the war in the Naruto anime, and the adult Naruto we see in Boruto. Now, it is outright stated within the manga of Naruto that the Ten Tails has enough chakra that it begins to form its own planets. Some of you may take this as hyperbole, but there are a few pieces of evidence that can be used to back this up even further. For example, Kurama, the nine-tailed beast, is stated in an official data book for the Naruto manga that Kurama has enough power to turn the world to ash. The Ten Tails would immediately scale off of this, as the Ten Tails is obviously stronger than the Nine Tails, since the Nine Tails only has 9 tails worth of the 10 tails overall power, and Madara was able to absorb the power of the 10 tails, and Naruto, even though he was heavily weakened, was able to keep up with the same Madara. So off rip, you could already scale Naruto to planetary plus ranges of power. And for me, that's where Naruto realistically scales. So now onto his speed. So Naruto scales above the Raikage in terms of strength and speed due to Naruto having higher chakra reserves than the Raikage. And the Raikage is stated to be able to move at almost the speed of light. So Naruto would, well, obviously scale to relativistic speeds. And that's before the end of the war arc. And that's way before Boruto. So by Boruto, we can logically assume since Naruto has gotten far faster, he should logically be reaching those FTL levels of speed. And while there is evidence to support this, I'm too lazy to edit that into the video, so just roll with me please. So yeah, Naruto would logically scale to planetary plus with FTL speed. But let's see how well he does against the strongest sorcerer of the modern era. Okay, so Gojo is a character that I have scaled multiple times before on my channel, so I don't really feel like scaling him again. So I'm just gonna be lazy, as I have been doing for the entirety of this video. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna be lazy and take the clip from my past Gojo video and then paste it here. And of course, I am going to be making some needed corrections and updates to the skill whenever needed, because due to the recent events of the JJK manga, we have seen Gojo at the fullest, like his full power basically. Some may say that we haven't seen his maximum output purple or maximum output red, but I personally don't think that should affect his scaling that much, especially when it comes to the speed and AP and DC departments. So yeah, let's get into this.
Now, similarly to All Might, Gojo is a character that scales mostly off of his hacks, being known as Limitless. Limitless is an ability that affects space down to a subatomic level, bringing infinity into reality. Basically, no matter how you approach Gojo, the distance between you and him will constantly be divided. Meaning no matter how far you get, there is always going to be another distance you have to cover, basically creating an infinite distance between you and Gojo. The only way you'd be able to bypass this is if you had infinite speed, or you just scaled higher than the infinity. But this doesn't apply to All Might, so meh. Now there are different applications of Gojo's infinity. There is blue, red, and purple. Blue is when Gojo divides space so much to the point that it begins to make negative space. Basically, it creates negative distance between him and anything he wants. But that doesn't make any sense. There can't be things like negative distances. So the universe tries to correct this by using regular space to cover up the negative space. But this creates something like a black hole. Not a literal black hole, but something very similar to it, allowing Gojo to even crush his opponents if he wanted to. Red is the exact opposite of blue. Instead of sucking things in, it repels things away. Just the amplified version of Limitless, basically. And then there is purple. This is where the scaling really starts. Now, in Gojo's first use of purple, he was able to vaporize and pulverize a large chunk of the earth, which was capped to around city block or town level. But that was just in Gojo's first appearance. Later on, we get to see a character known as Yuki, which basically has the ability to place a artificial mass onto herself or other objects. She can apply so much mass on herself, in fact, that she literally can turn into a black hole, which she does. A black hole that was stated was going to destroy the world. And the only reason the world wasn't destroyed was because she had nullified the black hole before, well, she turned into a black hole. Tengen was suppressing the black hole with a barrier, and Kenjaku was suppressing the barrier from the inside. Now, the reason why this would scale to Gojo is because while yes, none of them would directly scale to the black hole, they would at least scale off of it. And Gojo is far stronger than the three of them combined, especially Tengen, who was doing most of the work. So this would already scale Gojo to small planetary. Now for speed, Gojo doesn't have any speed scaling. Let me not even lie with you.
Okay, so first of all, that's wrong. Gojo does have speed feats, and that's actually a statement I made in my last Gojo video, which I have now backtracked on. Because if you have read the recent JJK mangas, you will know that the verse finally has the FTO feats that the fans have been hoping for. Now, we get to see a character known as Kashimo finally use his curse technique. One ability he gains from using his curse technique is the ability to shoot off electromagnetic waves at his opponents to create strong electric explosions. And if you know anything about physics, you will know that electromagnetic waves always move at the speed of light in a vacuum. Now, let me be specific. I am not saying that electromagnetic waves move at the speed of light when the electromagnetic waves are in a vacuum. I am saying that the electromagnetic waves, no matter the medium, whether it's in a vacuum or not, always move at the speed of light when light is in a vacuum. That should be pretty easy to understand. Now, Sukuna was able to dodge these electromagnetic waves point blank. He was not only able to dodge these attacks, he was able to completely speed blitz Kashimo before the attack even reached the ground. Now, some of you may say, oh, this doesn't scale to Gojo, Sukuna is stronger than Gojo, blah 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 blah. Actually, no. Now, many of you may try and bring up the fact that Gojo said that he was only. See who finally wins between the strongest sorcerer of today and the Okage of the village hidden in the leaf. Okay, so when you're doing a topic like this, the major question that comes up is if Naruto can actually bypass infinity. And I think a lot of you can agree with me when I say that Naruto can't bypass infinity using conventional methods, which is correct, but some of you will try and disagree with me by saying that infinity is based on Gojo's perception, and if you're able to perception blitz Gojo, you will be able to bypass infinity. But this is wrong for three reasons actually. Number one, what you are referring to is the selective limitless, which is basically the limitless that Gojo had attained after he fought Toji, which basically makes it so that the six eyes automatically detects whether an object can pass through infinity based on its mass, speed, and danger level. If it is not determined as a threat to Gojo, it will not be filtered by the Limitless. So yes, for the selected Limitless, if you're able to Perception Blitz Gojo, you should be able to bypass Infinity. But why is this wrong? Because Infinity is a passive ability. It's active all the time. It does not matter whether you Perception Blitz Gojo or not, Infinity will still be there. Selective Infinity doesn't turn on and turn off in the Limitless when it determines whether an object is dangerous or not. The selective Limitless just works off the passive Limitless. The passive Limitless is Limitless itself, it's space around Gojo that is being divided. No matter what you do, you can never reach Gojo because of the passive Limitless unless he turned it off. So even if you speed blitzed Gojo, it would not matter because there will still be an infinite amount of space between you and Gojo. And in this case, it wouldn't really matter since both of our characters have FTL speeds, so speed blitzing would be out of the question. So I've already stated the two reasons why speed blitzing Gojo will not allow you to bypass the limitless, but what's the third reason? The third reason is just a blatant example of people do not know how to read. When Toji was fighting teenage Gojo, it was very clear and obvious to everybody that Gojo could not follow a single thing that Toji was doing, and Gojo himself states that Toji was too damn fast. So much to the point that Gojo had to start following the cursed spirit on Toji's body, but even at that, Gojo even says again that damn, this guy is still way too fast. And before you guys bring up the fact that Toji was able to stab Gojo before at the beginning of their fights, Gojo literally says it that he had turned off his infinity the moment they stepped foot into Jujutsu High, because Gojo had been keeping his infinity on for days on end, which was putting a toll on his body. And Toji knew that, that's why he striked immediately he knew Gojo's infinity had been deactivated. But the moment Gojo reactivated its infinity, Toji immediately switched to the inverted spear of heaven. As we even see in the anime, when Toji is speed blitzing Gojo, he still cannot touch him without the use of the inverted spear of heaven, as Gojo can just amplify the passive limitless and repel Toji away. That's why the inverted spear of heaven was such a crucial tool in the killing of Satoru Gojo. And if you still want to continue to argue that if you perception blitz Gojo, infinity will be useless, I must give you an analogy. Let's say I have a character that can put an immeasurable amount of space between them and their opponents. They don't create a barrier around themselves, they alter space. Now, they alter space at all times. But let's say they don't, let's say they activated their ability at the beginning of the battle, so the space around them is already warped. If the other character was to speed blitz my character, I want to ask you what would happen. Would the warped space around my character suddenly stop being warped space just because the other character was able to speed blitz my character? No, it wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. That is why I am saying that infinity is passive no matter what. And for those of you that want to claim that, oh, Mahoraga was able to bypass Gojo's infinity with pure speed. No, he was not. The first time Mahoraga bypassed infinity, he was de-warping space by shifting his cursed energy. The second time, Mahoraga was not bypassing infinity, he was cutting reality. Let me give you another analogy. Let's say we have a stick figure on a canvas, but that stick figure is surrounded by a circle. And there is another stick figure that wants to attack our stick figure, but he can't reach our stick figure. So the next best thing to do is for the other stick figure to jump off the canvas and cut the canvas. So he would not be directly targeting our stick figure, he would be cutting the canvas and everything on it, ignoring the circle and cutting our stick figure. That is exactly what Mahoraga and Sukuna did to quote-unquote bypass Infinity. So now that I have explained why Naruto will not be able to bypass the Infinity using conventional methods, let me talk about the other reasons that I hear people saying Naruto can bypass Infinity. Some will try to claim that Naruto for some reason has spatial manipulation, so he should be able to bypass the Infinity, which is very, very ratty because how does Naruto have spatial manipulation again? I have never seen any proof or any scans of Naruto having any form of spatial manipulation in any way. But let's say Naruto did have spatial manipulation. We have already proven time and time again that Gojo creates an infinite series of space between him and his opponents, or divides space infinitely. I want to ask you then, which one is more potent? Finite spatial manipulation or infinite spatial manipulation? Exactly, infinite spatial manipulation wins. People will then try and bring up the Limbo clones, stating that Naruto would just be able to move into a different dimension and attack Gojo. But there are two problems with this, actually three, once again. Number one, Naruto cannot use Limbo clones. He could sense Madara's Limbo clones, he couldn't see or interact with them actually. Number two, it's pretty decisive whether the space around Gojo will still be warped even in the other dimension, and even if it's not, once again, Naruto does not have Limbo clones. And number three, it is unknown whether Gojo will be able to see these clones while they're moving in Limbo with Gojo's 6 eyes, but I'm not going to be granting Gojo that ability because it's way out of his bracket. Then you must be saying, well, Naruto should just put Gojo into a situation where he uses up all his cursed energy. That is a very good idea, but there's a problem with that. Gojo, on a normal basis, can never run out of cursed energy. The only reason he ran out of cursed energy so quickly during the Sukuna fight was because he was using reverse curse technique, which takes far more cursed energy than anything else in Gojo's arsenal besides from Hollow Purple and Domain Expansion. And even at that, Domain Expansion can be done multiple times by Gojo. So you can already see the massive toll that reverse curse technique did to Gojo and his cursed energy reserves. But on a normal basis, if Naruto cannot even hit Gojo, Gojo will never have a reason to use reverse curse technique. But let's say for some reason Naruto just draws out the fights for months, days, years even, and Gojo begins to run out of cursed energy. He can pop up in his domain, or hit Naruto with the meanest black flash ever. Both will increase Gojo's stats exponentially, but the Black Flash will also return Gojo's cursed energy reserves back to what they were before, and puts Gojo in the zone. Some will try and argue that Naruto has higher dimensional power, so Naruto should be able to bypass Gojo's infinity. While I do agree that higher dimensional power should definitely be able to bypass Gojo's infinity, Naruto does not have higher dimensional power. Please stop trying to wank Naruto to multiversal and above. But let's say that Naruto did have universal AP. That would not matter, because he would have fourth dimensional power, which Gojo can manipulate since, he has infinite spatial manipulation, which would basically mean he's manipulating space and time. And some will try and argue that the truth-seeking orbs can bypass infinity, but there is no proof to this, unless you want to argue that the truth-seeking orbs could transverse in infinite space in a finite amount of time, giving them infinite speed. Unless you could substantiate that, then no, the truth-seeking orbs could not bypass the neutral or selective in Limitless. So you must be asking, does Naruto have any win cons? Yes, and that is to tire out Gojo, which is going to take him a very long time, but hey, it's the only win con I could realistically give him. If you all want to argue on Gojo scaling, which has not been refuted, but the moment I say Gojo beats this character, all of a sudden everybody's up in arms, then feel free. My Discord link should be in the description. But anyways, the moment Naruto even gets a little bit too close, Gojo will pop a domain expansion, or hit him with blue, or repel him with red, or just finish him up with a hollow purple, or a maximum output blue. Unless Naruto is somehow able to hurt Gojo's soul, or is able to, attack him with spiritual energy. But Gojo would be able to detect all of those with his 6 eyes, and he would also have to prove that Naruto's spiritual abilities and hacks don't have to traverse space. And yes, Gojo would be able to detect Naruto's spiritual hacks since, curses are literally spiritual. And Gojo has seen the connections between Sukuna, Yuji, and Megumi souls like twice in the manga already. So yeah, no. The moment Naruto gets too close, it's GG's. But anyways, make sure to go check out my new wiki down below in the description. Our tiering system is unique, and if you want to scale your own characters on there, you are free to go. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and have a Merry Christmas. But until next time, guys, keep it fizzy.